We started writing this book on the 1st of January 2012 on New Year's Day. Nicole had the idea for the book originally based on the folklore of Brazilian stories that her father used to tell her as a little girl. And she wanted to account for that. She had a passion for screenwriting and she wanted to make it into a movie. She told me about the idea at first. It didn't quite reside with me. I wasn't excited about it. But she sent me the first 2 pages of the book anyway. And that's what you see in the prologue today. I read those first 2 pages and I called her up right away. I was in Beirut at the time and she was in Austin, Texas. I called her up right away and I said, I'm in, I want this project, let's do this together. So unfortunately, my grandmother was at Houston doing medical treatment at the same time and her surgery didn't go so well. So I had to rush over to Houston for that. And Nicole would come over and we would work on this project together while we were taking care of my grandmother. So it's become a special project for me personally and it's dedicated to her. I've always enjoyed writing. When I was 12 years old, I fell in love with poetry. So I would start writing poetry, and I remember it being embarrassingly bad, shameful poetry. I mean, if I read it now, I think I would cry. But for some reason, since then, I knew that I had a passion for it. And it wasn't until 10th grade with my teacher, Catherine Truman, that she supported me during my end of high school years and still supports me to this day. When I went to college though, I went into architecture, and as most architects know, you completely forget about everything you've ever loved or done before that and just focus on the major. So it was a relief to come out of that and find my passions again, and writing is definitely one of them. Writing is special to me because it combines a lot of my passions together. I studied as an architect, so it became beautiful to be able to build these worlds, these fantasy worlds that are, you know, something out of our imagination. Everything from the landscape of the world to the dwellings they lived in, to the architecture, to the history. It's all about creation and it's all about imagination, and I think it's very powerful. Writing is a very difficult process, especially if you're 2 people writing together. But let me focus on how it is to write as one person, because that's the typical situation. It's a very difficult process, and all the best writers will tell you, and all the successful writers will tell you, is don't stop writing. Is keep on going and start now. You know, you have an idea, you have a plot in your head, and you want to put it into action, but you want to let it ferment in your mind. Fine, but you have to start writing that, because otherwise you will start lose momentum and you will start to lose the motivation to do it. So there were so many days when because we worked on Skype on this book and it took us 3 years to complete it. And there were days when we wouldn't feel like writing and we would have to encourage each other and motivate each other, just put that idea on paper. And that's the beginning, you know? Tips for writing a story would be keep your language simple, plan out the idea of the book before you start writing it. Because if you start writing it, a lot of people have a tendency to keep building on an idea that is not important and eventually the reader will get lost. So keep the plan and keep a structure to the writing. Third of all is to be persistent once the book is done. Is talk to people about it, go to publishers, send letters out, and don't give up on the product, because once you have it in your hand, it's, you know, the majority of work is there, you just have to push for it. And I'm still working on that. I'm self-published, I'm self-printed, I'm pushing this my own way. I'm not waiting for a publisher to come and tell me, hey Dana, this is a good story, I'm going to publish it. I'm saying, no, I know this is a good story. I'm going to push it, and I'm going to push the Trilogy series as well.